Site of the first Mass. The first documented Catholic Mass in the Philippines was held on March 31, 1521, Easter Sunday. It was conducted by Father Pedro de Valderrama of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition along the shores of what was referred to in the journals of Antonio Pigafetta as Mazawa. Blood Compact. The island's sovereign ruler was Raja Colambu when Magellan and comrades set foot on the grounds of Mazawa. He befriended the Raja together with his brother Raja Shago of Butuan. In those days, it was customary among the indigenous and in most of Southeast Asia to seal friendship with the Blood Compact. On instigation of Magellan, who had heard the Malayan term of it, Kasi-kasi, the new friends performed the ritual. This was the first recorded blood compact between Filipinos and Spaniards. Diary of Antonio Pigafetta. Antonio Pigafetta was a famous Italian traveler who studied navigation and known by the name of Antonio Lombardo or Francisco Antonio Pigafetta. He joined the Portuguese Captain Ferdinand Magellan and his Spanish crew on their trip to Maluku Island. Pigafetta has the most complete account of Magellan expedition entitled Primo Viaggio Intorno al Mundo, meaning the first voyage around the world. He was one of the 18 survivors who returned to Spain aboard the Victoria and therefore considered as an eyewitness of the significant events happened on the first Mass, of which Magellan named it the Islands of St. Lazarus. That is later called the Philippine Archipelago. The four sites of the first Mass are Limasawa, Masao or Mazawa, Homonhon Island, and Mahaba Island.
What is the history of Limasawa Island? Limasawa is an island municipality in southern Leyte. Limasawa, it means lima asawa. The Raja has 5 wives. This island is small yet flourishing town. And it is historic in that the first Christian Mass in the Far East was celebrated in this island on March 31, 1521. The first cross and the first Mass shrine are some of the frequently visited spots that give tourists a rare experience of retracing the historic footsteps of the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan in 1521, who paved the way for the beginning of Christianity in the country. And in 1994, President Fidel B. Ramos approved Republic Act No. 7822 declaring Limasawa as a tourist zone in 1994. What is the old name of Limasawa? Masawa is the original name of this municipality. There are two assumptions how the municipality got its name. One assumption is that before the Spanish men arrived to the island, the natives don't really have a name of their place. Upon the arrival of Ferdinand Magellan and his men, one of the natives was asked for the name of their place. The native, unable to understand what it meant, mistakenly interpreted the question to mean as to how many wives their Raja has. So, he answered immediately Limay Sawa, meaning that the Raja has 5 wives. The Spanish too, thinking that was the answer to his question, returned to tell his companions that the island is named Limay Sawa, and from then on the place came to be called as Limasawa. Another assumption is that when the Spanish men arrived to the island, they named it Masawa for the beauty of the place. As it is their custom to add the prefix le to mean a particular name, it became the tongue of everyone in the place to call it as Limasawa. It was the local people themselves who later changed the spelling and joined the two words into Limasawa. But today, the island is popularly known as Limasawa, although some elderly citizens prefer to call it Masawa.
Masaw Butuan. Filipino historians have long contested the idea that Limasawa was the site of the first Catholic Mass in the country. Historian Sonia Zaid identified Masaw, also Mazawa, in Butuan as the location of first Christian Mass. The basis of Zaid's claim is the diary of Antonio Pigafeta, chronicler of Magellan's voyage. In 1995, Agusan del Norte's 1st Congressional District Representative, Ching Plaza filed the bill in Congress contesting the Limasawa hypothesis and asserting that the site of the first Mass was in Butuan. The Congress of the Philippines referred the matter to the National Historical Institute for it to study the issue and recommend a historical finding. NHI Chairman Dr. Samuel K. Tan reaffirmed Limasawa as the site of the first Mass. It was until at least the 19th century that the prevailing belief among historians was that the first Mass was held in Butuan.
This is the picture of Masaw or Mazawa Island in Butuan. Masaw is a barangay in the city of Butuan. Its population, as determined by the 2020 census, was 1,913. According to Pigafeta, the site of the first Mass was on the island of Mazawa. Eastern Sunday, 31st of March in 1521. Two native chieftains were attendants, Raha of Mazawa and Raha of Butuan. After the Mass, a wooden cross was planted on the hill upon its summit. According sa chronicles ni Pigafetta, ang unang misa ay naganap sa Mazawa. And also, according to witnesses Antonio Pigafetta, Jeans de Mafra, Francisco Albo, the Henus Pilot, and Martin de Ayamonte, the first Mass in the Philippines took place on Eastern Sunday, March 31, 1521, on island of Mazawa. Where is the first Mass in the Philippines really held? Some historians say that it is in Limasawa on the southern tip of Leyte, and some says it is held in Masaw, Butuan. At this very moment, this issue is being contested by these people from these two different places, claiming that the first Mass is held in their place. Therefore, the researchers conclude that the first Mass was held in Masaw, Butuan, and not in Limasawa, Leyte. Because according to Republic Act number 2733, the law as well as the government declare that the first Mass is really held in Masaw, Butuan, even though there is also a law declare Limasawa as the place where the first Mass held. There's a possibility that they only want to detour us to the truth that Butuan is the real place where it is held, because there's a lot of evidences that leads to the conclusion that the first Mass was held in Masaw, Butuan. That's why the researchers recommended that the future researchers should conduct a further research and find additional information to strengthen this claim.
Homonhon Island, Eastern Samar. This is the picture of Homonhon Island. Homonhon Island was the first place that Ferdinand Magellan landed in the Philippines. Sinasabing sa Homonhon Island, unang bumaba sina Magellan sa Pilipinas. After they land in Guam and called Las Islas de los Labrones, the Thief Island, Magellan's troops had a troubled experience staying there. Some people on Homonhon Island and Samar claimed shortly after the arrival of Magellan and his companions on the islands. They had a mass in the Esli to thank God for their safe journey from Guam and the vast Pacific Ocean. So, sinasabi dito na galing sina Magellan sa Guam, tapos doon sa Homonhon Island, doon sila nagpahinga ng kanyang mga kasama. So, dahil madaming nangyari sa Guam noong sila ay nagbabiyahe sa lugar na iyon, tapos pagpunta nila sa Homonhon, nagsagawa agad ang mga kasama ni Magellan ng misa bilang pasasalamat dahil nakarating sila ng maayos at ligtas mula sa biyahe nila galing sa Guam. This is the map of Homonhon Island. So, sino nga ba tong si Pigafetta? Anthony Pigafetta was an Italian scholar and explorer. He joined the expedition to the Spy Islands led by explorer Ferdinand Magellan under the flag of Emperor Charles V, and after Magellan's death in the Philippine Islands, the subsequent voyage around the world. So, sinasabi dito na si Anthony Pigafetta ay isang Italian scholar at isa din siyang explorer. Pigafetta did not exactly say that it was their first mass. He reported that a mass was celebrated on Easter Sunday in Mazwa Island. Attorney Mindiola concludes that on the one islands of Homonhon on 19th of March 51, the first mass celebrated was held in the Philippines, not one on the 31 of the 3 months. So, sinasabi dito na si Pigafetta, sinabi niya dito na hindi niya alam kung ano ang eksaktong araw kung kailan sila nagmisa sa Homonhon, pero sinabi niya na nagkaroon ng misa doon. Pero hindi niya lang alam kung ano ang saktong araw. Basta ang natatandaan niya lang ay iyon ay Eastern Sunday. So, ngayon, itong si Attorney Mindiola, nag-aaral siya tungkol sa Philippine history. So, nag-research din siya, tapos napagtanto niya o nakita niya based sa mga research niya na maaaring naganap ang first mass sa Philippines noong March 19, 1521, based sa natandaan ni Pigafetta. Next is Ferdinand Magellan. So, sino nga ba si Ferdinand Magellan? Si Ferdinand Magellan, siya yung pinatay ni Lapu-Lapu. So, yon. Kung natatandaan nyo sa mga tinuturo ng ating mga teacher noong tayo ay elementary at saka high school, laging yan nakakasama sa ating pagdidiscuss sa klase na si Ferdinand Magellan ay pinatay ni Lapu-Lapu.
Historical background of Mahaba Island, Placer, Surigao del Norte. The town of Placer was founded by Captain Felipe Custodio together with Capitan Luis Patino in 1850. Felipe Custodio named the place, which means mines and happiness, because the people were happy and prosperous, enjoying the rich resources of gold, abundant supply on various kinds of fish, and bountiful harvest from the rice fields. Between 1850 to 1860, the Spanish officials wanted to change the name of Placer in honor of saints. Capitan Felipe Custodio, 2 sons, Marcelino and Domingo, who insisted that the place be permanently named Placer, because the people's means of livelihood was gold panning, practicing the method of extracting gold. This question was brought to the Spanish authorities in Manila, and fortunately, were considered as they were convinced, as they were also interested in gold. In 1860, the name Placer was officially approved, and from this time, trusts were set forth for progress and development, and Placer became one of the oldest towns in the province. In this part, another group of people in northern Mindanao claimed that Magellan's expedition actually had a first mass. During that time, Magellan was using an astrolabe to determine his latitude, location, and the accuracy of this instrument was plus or minus 1 degree.
Magellan could have mistaken Mahaba Island, a small island, to be part of Masipilid Island because it is almost touching the bigger island, and a low tide it could easily be mistaken to be connected to the bigger island at the northern tip. If present map will be examined today, it will be noted that Mahaba Island is very close to the island of Masipilid, and the flotilla of Magellan most probably anchored between these two islands. It will be noted also that Masipilid is shaped like a stingray as described by Pigafetta. And this is an example of astrolabe that Magellan used. While in Balinaw, Pangasinan, there is a small monument that marks the site of the first Christmas Mass ever held in the Philippines. A Franciscan friar called Odoric from Pordenone, Italy is said to have landed on the shore of Pangasinan. 2 centuries before Magellan wandered through the Philippine archipelago seeking shelter from the stormy seas, taking a black crucifix onto the beach, he met hostile indigenous people who were soon pacified by his courage and faith. After showing the local people a few photos of Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, the friar and his companions built a cross and planted a Christmas tree. The first Christmas Mass was held in the Philippines, and several Pangasinians were baptized later in the Philippines. It took place on December 25, 1324. So who was Odoric? Odoric is an Italian Franciscan friar and missionary explorer. Is heartily believed by many Pangasinenses to have celebrated the first Mass in Pangasinan in around 1324 that would have predated the Mass held in 1521 by Ferdinand Magellan.